Well, good morning, everyone. I'm going to start this chat. Maybe that makes a difference. There. Okay, I am really excited about today's video. I know I jump on here a little early, but I do that because I'm so aware of the technical and electronic things that can go wrong. And I've had it happen a couple of times. Sometimes I've had to do the whole thing over, and that's another whole 5 minutes. So if I jump on here at, like, 5 to 11 or 11, I could very well end up not showing up till 11:15. Very well. Okay, so now this is showing over on Patreon. I just wanna take a look at this for a moment. Okay, there's nothing else to do there. Okay. Yeah, I believe that today this is being shared on YouTube and Patreon. We believe we've got that down pat. When it's over on just Patreon, people should be able to talk. At least the members should be able to comment. So still trying to figure that out. And Patreon was so very kind to send me this morning a really long list of stuff to read on that. And then after I read it, I'm going to try it and then ask them questions or whatnot. So who's here? Denise, hi. Yeah, you find, hey, yay. I'm so glad you're here. This feels really, really good to me. This feels like I have actually I feel like I would miss having this live because this is like downtime for me to be able to get on here and share with you. And especially something like today, like the bowl. I spent the last few hours prepping for it. Yeah, you too, right? I mean, because we are building a little community of artisans here, and um, we're all wanting to use scrap fabrics. That's such a huge thing. Yeah, live streams are good. I tell you, Denise, I'm watching the other YouTubers, and I'm really thinking, should I do more live streams on YouTube? So I'm thinking about that. I have Patreon little construct all figured out, and I'm not overwhelmed. I've got that where I can share extra things and feel good about it. And many things I've shared here, like I have almost 400 videos on YouTube, and some of them are crafty things. I mean, because we can make a bunch of things with our scrap fabrics, right? They were sitting here far apart, yeah, yeah, that's what the live does, and it allows us to communicate back and forth. And that's the main reason I've got that Patreon is I want artists to be able to communicate if they have to, like if they're working on a project, can and they get stuck, because I've been there. So like these projects, even today's project, they I'm able to share with you the glitches and the kinks and all the things that can go wrong. I am happy to share all the wrong things that can go. So that is why I'm here for you. And I got my coffee, and this is a great time to grab your coffee. And then you are in Vermont, and you are in Vermont, and I'm in the Gulf of you guys are really close to the south. Um, I hope you guys are okay. I'm noticing they're even talking this week coming. It seems really close down near Texas. Anyway, they keep calling it the Midwest, but it looks kind of south to me. Oh, Josie from the UK. London. I love it. I just ordered some jam from King Charles. Yeah. Oh, I'm telling you, I put an application. I was trying to get over to London in an art exhibit because I just want to get, oh, why I want to go to London? You're all probably going to laugh about this. But do you remember we did and this is way before we did how we did our village and we were looking at the cottages in London that's why I want to go to London. Love those little cottages and those little houses. Um, let's see. Corpus Christi is quite weather zone, really. What now? You mean you don't get too much of it? Yeah, are you okay with the storms down there, Denise? See, yeah. So yeah, Josie from London. I think they say Paris is like, and New York City is like the art capitals of the world. I think London is. Now, I'm going to tell you why. I've done some studying on London in fabric arts. And there is some seriously, especially in the Renaissance, the embroidery that was going on. Oh, it's crazy beautiful. Um, yeah, I love London and I love the royal family there. Absolutely adore them. I'll tell you all a story here before we start. I know this isn't art, but it kind of is because it influenced me highly as a child. My grandfather had run for senator in the United States. And even though I don't know how he did that because he was not a, a citizen. I don't believe they were immigrants. But my grandmother was born here, just barely, but she was. Maybe he was too, because they ended up at an inaugural ball, and somehow, in the midst of their travels, they traveled all the time. They met Queen Victoria, and had I have a photo of her. So I have a photo of Queen Victoria, but they met her, and actually, Queen Victoria was heavily people don't know this, but her heart was so with the um the Underground Railroad. She was associating with the Underground Railroad. She sent Harriet Tubman a crocheted lace shawl when all of it was over. Let's see, Denise, maybe a hurricane every 5 years. Otherwise, we're just hot. But oh, you're in a good section, Denise, because I'll tell you, the hurricanes and tornadoes, I'm like watching the weather all the time. And the hurricanes are Midwest, kind of south, I want to say, very close to you guys, but good. I'm glad you're out of the hurricane zone. Hurricane Lane, I guess they call it. So anyway, with that, I want to show you a couple of things. So we're going to do our beautiful, you know, we're going to do our beautiful, when you guys asked me to do this, I had a laugh right out loud because I did two of these and the other one I gave away as a gift. It was pink and just adorable. And I did them both different ways. Even when I was doing this, I was because it's a prototype, I was testing out a couple of ways, but I'm going to share the predominant way that I made this, and it's very easy. So and I want to just show you something else. Um this we can do next week if you want. This one, this is a basket. Now look, seriously adorable. Now granted, I'm going to put this down. You can see, and Josie, Josie says it looks interesting. I made this primarily to go, as a, flower pot hugger, to hug a to cover a flower pot. And this is what you call rough and wild because I ended up putting a, handle on it because I actually use it. I will put fabrics in here. But you know what this is? I just wanna share this with you. You know how we were talking, "Oh, hey, North Carolina." Oh, yeah, Brianna, there she is. I'm so happy to see you, Brianna. We did a live the other day on Patreon, and Brianna was talking, and I was talking, and we couldn't see each other. We couldn't see our chats or, connecting. So we're working on that. And I guess Patreon has sent me the answer, so hopefully I have time to read it. I will read it this afternoon. But this is, uh, made of all the fast fashion crapola, you might say. It's the stuff that doesn't break down. And that's why take a good, really close look at that. This is why I made it as a flower pot cozy. That's what I want to say. Because I was concerned I had a flower pot outside and I didn't know to bring it in. But this is different from the one we're going to make because this one is it's continuous. You just connect, it's no sewing. This is no sewing. And it's knotty, and I love the bows. And this is very much a Carmella. It really is. It's kind of out there. It's like it's like the word that Josie used. Interesting. Anyway, there's that one. But this one today. So what you're gonna need, so first I'm gonna preface this with a couple things here. Um, I gotta grab this back here. My scissors. First, I want to talk to you about your supplies, even though it's super simple. You just need um a needle and thread, a craft needle, but you don't want the craft needle to be too blunt. You do want a sharp, even though you're not typically going to go through the fabric, but you may. And I end up doing it until I get, well, till my diameter is wider. So the center of it here is why I put some samples together. I'm going to give you a really good start on the middle because you want a needle that will be able to go through your fabric, basically. With and if it's blunt, it won't, or if the eye is wide, it won't. So with that said, this is made of a more modern day type of cloth. This is what you would call like a fat quarter, but or sheet. This not a fat quarter necessarily because you want a lot of it. A sheet type of fabric. This may have even been a sheet that I cut up. This is um fat quarter. So I was trying to make a tiny one to show you, and this was not showing up the way I wanted. So I realized I had white. Okay, I cream color. Now, this is probably the best for a beginner, and I'm going to tell you why. This is cotton. It's a relaxed cotton. So this is cotton, but it's a tightly woven cotton. It's a different type of cotton. This is this is almost like a um it's almost like a fleece, but it's not. It's just a relaxed cotton. It's beautiful. And what's it say on here? Actually, I have the tag. Let's see what this tag says. Oh, yeah, 100% cotton. And it is That's the word I'm looking for. Flannel. Flannel. That's the best to start with, because if you do, when you start going sewing, if your needle catches the fabric, it should be able to go through it easily, and flannel is the best. This one, it may resist it a tiny bit, a fat quarter. Now you want about, this is ridiculously long. This is like 5 feet long. But I mean, you could have it 5 feet long. And you want strips that are about an inch wide, an inch or greater. This is greater. These are about 2 inches. These are about 2 inches. This one is about an inch, because I wanted something that was a little smaller to show you so I could get it in the camera. Now I cut out some strips because I want to show you how to begin, because even though it's simple and I could just say the words, uh seeing it makes make it so much easier for you. So I cut these out. um so anyway, that's kind of what you want. I spent $1 on this at the thrift shop. This is gorgeous. um I want to use that for sashiko stitching. So this is about 5 feet. So what I'm going to do for the sake of demo is I'm going to cut these in half. What I would typically do is just kind of go ahead and use them, but I'm going to be demonstrating. So we will put these all to the side for now. And so the first thing you want to do, get your strips and just pin or safety pin your tips of them, okay? Because we're going to braid them. So I'm going to stand up. Actually, I'm going to do this the way I'm going to take the pin out, because this is how I do it. I just put like a knot. What I do like this. I put the knot around my chair, and then I just braid. So the first thing you're going to do is just braid your strips. That's all. You're just going to do a simple braid. You can make it tight, you can make it loose, it doesn't matter. But whatever tension you're kind of going with here, try to stay consistent, just to make life easier for yourself. So see, I made this 2 feet, 2.5 feet, to make it easier for you to see, and then I can go quickly like this. So now what you're going to do here is, yeah, I'm still in the camera. Okay, right here, what we want to do is just sew those. We want to make this, you know, one. So let me bring this over here. I'm just going to put a couple stitches through here. Now this is why you need your needle to be a little sharp there, because you want to be able to sew like this. Um, and if you feel you're going along and you want a stitch or two somewhere, you want to be able to do that. And especially if you are like this one, you're going to connect these. But I'm not connecting these right now because I want to use this to show you, and I'm putting a few stitches in here because this is the beginning of your coil. So okay, this is how we begin. And this, I'm just going to leave my knot at the end. Let's see here. Anybody have any questions thus far? I am on my second sashiko project. That would make a nice pet bed. Wow. Oh, yeah. I got a comment on both of those. One, this would make a great pet bed. Seriously, And flannel, and I miss having a pet, but I tell you what, if I had a pet right now, yeah, totally. And you can line it with with a little blanket, a crocheted blanket, or you don't have to line it, but because it's flannel, but you might want to put a little something in there. But yeah, absolutely. And Denise says she's working on her second sashiko project. Yay, Denise. All right. Denise, yeah. I would love to see. Did you post it over on your site? We can put a link to your site so all the other ladies can go over and look at it. Were you able to post it? Okay, so this, I'm gonna wait for Denise to answer. But okay, so this I'm just going to leave like that. Now, I'm gonna show you first a couple things. In the center, when you start coiling this is the trickiest part. And then when you get out here, it gets a little easier. So I just want to preface that. So I'm going to put this to the side for a moment because here, all we're going to do to start our project is we're going to coil it. We're just going to start rolling it like that. Now, what I do, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you. It's like, why did I make this bowl? I made this I just made it. I used to needle felt bowls, and I'm going to do them again with lids. Um, and I'm a crocheter. I did needle, I also did Indian tie weave. So um, I'm familiar with crafting. So, I saw a bowl that I liked and I was reading it on a blog. And seriously, I could not understand at all what they were saying. And mine did not come out like theirs, but that's okay because I'm kind of a rough cut anyway. But that's how I came up with my own. I have to when I craft, I have to really enjoy what I'm doing, and it has to if it's too stressful, it ends up not being enjoyable. So this is how I do it. So Denise, not yet. I can post it while you're live and your people can come over when they are done. It sounds like a plan, Denise. We can do that, but I'll put your link in my content. Or you can write it on here what name of your YouTube channel and everybody can see it. So I'm gonna put this down here because all I did was roll this a tiny bit. And this is the only other time I'm going to just really worry about stitching is I just kind of want to get a couple of stitches in there because I want to make sure for me anyway that my center is not going to fall out. That's the only reason I'm putting in a couple more stitches and then that will kind of be it. Now I go under the folds a little bit just so it doesn't matter exactly where. You just kind of want to get those couple stitches. Okay, good. Now we've got a couple stitches, if you can see, in there at the beginning of our coil. Now we're going to start coiling. Now I want to explain the concept as we go. Okay, so all you're going to do is you want to roll it enough. Whoops, let's see here. I'll get this down here. You want to roll it enough so that you begin to see that you're having 1, 2 rows. 1, 2. Because all you're going to do is put the needle like through a fold or in between the rows, okay? Because all you're doing, you see how easy a needle comes up through? All you're doing is, I want to say, for lack of a better description, whip stitching your first and second row. And then as you continue, you're going to whip stitch your second and third row. You can't go around and skip and do 2 rows, 2 rows, 2 rows. Each row has to stagger with a whip stitch to connect them. So with that said, this is how I do it. Whether it's right or whether it's wrong, I don't know. But it does work. Everything stays together. And you'll know if it's not staying together, you'll be like, what the heck is going on? Now, with that little bit said, I just kind of want to show you, get this started. Now, with that said, you see, if this is going through fabric, that's why I said you need a little tip. That's okay. You know, maybe you can't see the folds exactly. Maybe you're not getting exactly in between your rows. You know, don't worry about it, because as long as you see and you test it, and we're going to test it in a minute. Going to, now see, this is catching a lot of fabric, but I'm okay with that because I know this is what happens to me at the beginning sometimes. Sometimes I get it perfectly. See, and if we open that a little bit, we're going to open that a little bit. You see, we're testing that. You test it from the beginning, because you could end up with a coil like this, and then it falls apart. So you want to test it from the beginning. Let's see. Do you have any questions, Liz? Whip stitching is a beautiful way to explain. Yes. Okay, good. Um, Good morning, Maryland. My scrap's ready, and so my projects are the same time. Yeah. So, you know, it's just good to have some projects there. I'm going to continue this. And so yeah, that's your little test, is just kind of, you know, unwrap. If it comes all apart and it's not working, that's okay. Just put more stitches going through the fabric at the beginning. That's probably what's going on. And these are the types of things that if I find a project and somebody just gives me a generic list of how to do, and I can't do it, I have to go create my own way. I just have to. But this is, you know, I'm suspecting a very old-fashioned way also, because it's just so ridiculously simple, right? But it's just giving ourselves permission to do and create the way we want. And see, there you go. And the key is a couple things. You do not want to bunch it like too much, but you do want secure. And you also, oh, what was the other thing? There's another tip I have for you. I just slipped through my mind, but it will come back. I'm sure of it, because it's important tip. But I give you these as I'm working. Okay. Oh, that was the other thing. Yeah. So as you're going along, what you want to keep in mind is, I want to explain this to you. Hold on. Okay. So this is working, you see, beautifully. That's working beautifully. So that's how you begin it. So I'm going to put this to the side, because now, oh, wait, the only other thing I would say is, if, like, as you go along, right, you're going to continue your braid, and you saw how I sewed them together. Well, what you're going to do is leave these and just continue braiding. If you could do 2 ways, you could continue braiding, um, or you can sew these and then start a new piece. it really doesn't matter which way you do it, because it's going to it if you want it flush, if you want it flush, just tuck it in and sew it. Give it a couple stitches, that's all. And then continue with your next. And that's how you do it. And do it. And I'm going to show you, actually. Let me show you that, because save your scraps. These are two different projects, but I'm going to show you because you may not. There's two different ways you can do this. You can continue braiding, and you have to connect these. You have to connect your pieces. Get my, so you can do it like, let me get a thicker, try to get my thread. So if you do it this way, you're just taking it's not going to take you long. You're going to take a few minutes to just simply do a flush. You're just going to connect them. That's all. You just keep going. Whoops. And you can just do a couple of, this just fell off here, but you just do a couple of little stitches for each little one. You can do it for each strip. You can do it like that, and that keeps it nice and flush. Or what you can do is just sew and tuck each piece in. Or you can, there is actually another way you can tie them like I did here on this one. This is an exaggerated kind of, Bowie type of deal, but it would have, this would look actually beautiful with some knots. I'm going to tell you right now, I just love that idea. But anyway, you just go on like this, and then braid them. Get our knots in. And all this does is continue your braid. These will not show. They're just clip your tails and continue like that. Okay, now I'm going to show you over here. Well, I guess I can continue these. These only take a second. These do not take long at all. So, and you see some of these are uneven, but again, whoops, pulled that through. That is okay. Anyway, in my book, huge difference. And unless you want them to be the same, and you can do that too. But this is just for demo, so I wanted to get these cut really. I wanted to get these done for you. Have a couple of different demos for you this morning. So so you get, because once you have the concept of this, then you're good to go. Then you can, like, well, I'm going to make my strips nice and even, and this and that. Now, mind you, I have this connected to another project, so I'm going to clip those right here. Just going to clip those because I just want to show you. This is how you keep it nice and flush and nice. It's very, very easy. Now I would have something holding this typically, and just continue. I guess I can put the bowl there for a second, and I guess that's covering everything up, but I just want to get this braided and clip my little strings. You can clip them or tuck them in. I used a crochet needle to tuck them in. And then as you're going around, these do not show. They just get wrapped in with your project. Let's see. I am so excited about is so unique. Your memory quill ensure will be lovely. Yeah, the memory quill. Yeah. And Robin, looks like such fun project. I have tons of strips made from sheets because okay, if you weave rugs, then you've got this because yeah, um, I have all my fabrics gathered to start the Boro inspired piece by piece quilt. Beautiful. Yeah. Oh, I was supposed to share. You know what? Let me get my quilt. Hold on. We'll get right back to this. Um, okay. Yeah, my quilt is not done. My quilt is not done either. I mean, couple things happened. I got wool from the farm and the art guild was asking me to do a needle felting, so I had to make a needle felting class, so I had to make a little sample. That took a little time, but then I started sculpting last night in my needle felting. Let me show you this. I don't know if you've seen this on YouTube. have has anybody on YouTube seen my bear? I don't know if you guys, because I started needle felting 20 some odd years ago because I had sheep. I had Rugsby and Sweet Pea. I had two sheep, just two. And I got hooked greatly on the wool. And I was making, rugs and vests and hats and stuff like that. Oh, Denise is back. Hi, Denise. This is my bear, my needle felted bear. But you see the Boro Sashiko. Now, I did share this over on Patreon. And I'm learning that I could put something on Patreon. This is what my advisors told me on Patreon. I could put something on Patreon. It goes on there first. That's very first where it goes posted. And then later on, it will come over here to YouTube. So I don't know. I'm playing with that idea. I'm not liking the same thing over and over and back and forth, but this is something you're going to see me in the month of May. I will be doing lots of needle felting over on Patreon just to sit and go live. But this right here is what we're doing, Boro Sashiko. So anyway, we're put a put artists in one room, like a whole bunch of artists. And how many conversations are you going to get? Probably thousands. But this is as far as I've gotten. I have not finished it. I got to, boy, I'm so glad you said that. I totally knew I was forgetting something on my share. But this is the French, where's my French? My French knotting. Which this is over on Instagram. I just love that. That fabric right there is just so lovely in itself. I couldn't even fathom putting running stitches on that all the way around. I couldn't do it. But the French knots, see, they look like little flowers. So that's that patch. And I started putting my hearts on. Now this heart also has French knots. Let's see, I'm having trouble with the camera here. Here it is. So those are just kind of go with the little design of the bubbles. Oh, thank you, Robin and Brianna. Thank you. It's not done, and down here, and this I want to share this with you. There's something about creating when you're by yourself. And I was reading that. I don't know what it is, but us artists, when we're alone and we get in the zone and we can concentrate on what's coming to our minds and our what we feel, it really is that. It's concentration to express that because it's not easy to do. But we were kind of messing around together, right, with this piece. We were designing it together, and there was something just not sitting right. And this heart is such a simple pale pink, but when I placed it on that piece, it just popped. I mean, it's like vintage, old fashioned, but the two designs together just go beautifully. Um, yeah, exactly. Exactly, Denise. You can tell when it just flows. And you can tell by looking at it. You're right. But thank you, Josie. Yeah. So here I just want to share with you. This is the seed stitching. That's the seed stitching. So I did put some running stitches, which are larger because the seed, I don't know, they're really tiny, but they're there. And so I love those two pieces. And then this just pops. I mean, you just, there's just no doubt about it. Just pops. I mean, but buffalo plaid and polka dots, it just goes. So anyway, I mean, the vibes in this quilt are all over the place. I mean, you could not plan this. If any one of us walked into Vogue or Elle or whatever, these sophisticated design magazine we started throwing things, they would not take us serious until it was complete because it just goes. This is to me a statement of diversity, is it not? I mean, diversity in our lives, in our fabrics, in our society. I just love it. So anyway, that's that for the moment. And yeah, I've been coming back and forth to it. I was doing pretty good. I thought I was going to finish it. That was going to be it. I was going to say, "Hey guys, I'm done." Not We're not done yet. So we're going to put that over there. And much like an artist, I do uh jump around, right? That's what we do. So now let's see. Back to our beautiful bowl. I want to explain something to you so you understand because I'm almost wondering if we need a part two. I feel like to complete this, it's because, but we'll see. We'll see. Kind of tell me what you think. Because first, I want to explain this to you. This is how you make the bowl when you're going around. So first of all, we connected our pieces here. If it's not, it's a little off a teeny tiny bit, that's okay. It's going when you wrap it, it's going to go beautifully. Um, so here you are. I want to find my folds. So here we are. We want to connect our two rows. So I'm going to put this in here. Okay, and I got a knot up here. Here's a knot. I can just pull my knot in a little. Whoop, it pulled right through. So this is what I'm going to do is make sure it catches the fabric. Just a teeny tiny bit, not much. Now, I was going to show you that you can either tuck the knot in, and I wanted to show you with this, with your little crochet hook, you can pull it and just kind of pull it down into the crevices there. a little bit, but I guess we could, yeah, see, because you're gonna have the tails, so just use your hook to pull it down a little bit. Okay, so yeah, pull it when you're starting your knot, pull it so it's just a little tiny bit through the fabric, that's fine. And like I said, if you go through the fabric, because you're doing a whip stitch here, and I can feel it go through that fabric a little, that's okay. In my book, it just makes it a little more secure. Ultimately, it gets nice and easy as we go along. We um we come along in between our rows, connecting our last two rows. So you're always wanting to see that two rows before are connected and then your next two are connected. So I wanted to explain that to you because the way you make the bowl is this. You have to get your coil. This is how I did it. So this whole bowl, I'm gonna put this up for a second. Are you using thin crochet yarn size 10? Actually, it is a lacy crochet. Yeah, this is a lacy crochet yarn. That's a good question. And actually, so you can use, I would say at least if you're using thread, use this thread. Because if you use a thinner thread, in my book, I don't trust it. I don't trust it as the piece gets a little heavier. Because this is a nice size. This is at least I'd say this is 6, 7 ounces. It's almost half it is. It's a good size. It's a hefty amount. So yeah, use at least your and it is a 10. Perfect. Yes. So the other thing you can use though is, but if you do use this, make sure your darning needle or your craft needle has, like I said, a sharp tip, but you could use yarn. You could use yarn. You could use twine. So you can use a bunch of things because really what you're doing, like I said, is you're whip stitching in between in between your rows. Let's say ideally. The way I end up doing it is the needle catches the fabric. I know it's going through the fabric. This lacy thread works really well for that. Yarn would be okay too, as long as it's not a heavy weight or thick yarn. Yarn would work fine and it would look pretty. I mean, because look, this is going to be gorgeous because I'm thinking there's a couple things. We may have to have a second video because I would love to share with you how different ways you can design it. You probably already have a bunch of ways, but I'd love to share with you because I just have so much fabric over here in the drawers of the lacy trim, um, ribbons, um, and yes, you can crochet your ribbon. So, but this is the thing. What whatever size you want your bowl to be. Now, I would not advise, this is just my thought because this bowl was made impromptu. It was like my life impromptu. You could go up, let's see, you could have the sides, and I'm going to talk to you about how to get these sides. But you could have the sides, this side's here. This is a nice 2 inch. It's a nice 2 inch wall. And the bottom here is approximately 6. So there was no pattern or anything. But I did not stack these like this. I did not do it that way. That's not how I did it. Because look, here, I'm just going to explain. when you what you want is for your wall, this is just my opinion, to be really hefty. And I used to make bowls. Now, when I made the bowls with needle felting, I always did my diameter first. And I did try as an artist many different ways. When I started, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do the bottom of the bowl and then I'm going to do the sides. When I did it that way, those sides were never strong as the base. I want the sides to be as strong as my base. So guess what? I make my sides from my base. This is how I do it. I think I might try one of those bowls with burlap. Yeah. Burlap. Yeah. You you know, with burlap is so beautiful. You don't even have to braid burlap. I mean, if you cut it and braid it, it would be super duper thick. But you could just cut strips and sew it. I mean, it's just the thought. Because look, what you're doing, like you could fold your strips. You could fold them like here's your burlap. You could fold your strips and then start to coil them because burlap is thick and then you can whip stitch it. I know you could try it that way. But anyway, when you do this, you're going to it's a good idea, Denise. I like that. I used to have some um access to burlap bags up here in Vermont. I don't see them anymore in the thrift shops. I guess they would be maybe at the feed stores. So anyway, you're going to I'm trying to get this wider while we're talking, which we may have to have a second live on this, which we could do because it might take too long this way. But this is how I did do it. You do your get your diameter the way however big you want it, and then you shape the bowl just like you're shaping clay, and bring it up, and then tighten it just a little bit around the edges. That's how I made this bowl, and this is the reason. This is made with whip stitching and staggering the rows, connecting the rows. Now, if you start to do this type of deal, which people want to do, this is the way you want to do it. This is what I did. Initially, I'm like messing around with this. I'm like, okay, now I'm ready to go up. And I'm like, well, I could stagger that a little, connect it, and stagger this a little, connect it. Mm-mm. I mean, you could try it that way, but I don't believe it's going to be strong or consistent. Now, continuing to work your diameter, like your flap, just the whole flap piece, and then you shape it up. Shape it up. Are you going to be able to shape this like 10 inches high, a foot, 2 feet? I haven't done that. I I don't know if this method would work like that, but I do know it works beautifully with a 2 inch, and I could tell you probably easily 4 to 5, maybe 6. I mean, this would work with probably coming up, yeah, at least as high. At least as high. Now, if you go higher than that, it might start to wobble. That's what I think. So that's where an expert would probably come in and figure out what to do. I'd say you get a very nice bowl this way. So, um, let's see, you might get burlap sacks from a coffee room. Oh, yeah. We have Green Mountain Coffee right up the street. One of those boutique coffee shop or yeah. You know, our boutiques are going like out the window up here. We've lost a lot of business up here in Vermont. I'm telling you, we really have. But yes, so you could try this with many different. I'm just gonna put this down and continue. See if we can get this a little wider so I can show you a little bit better what I mean, because that is how I did that bowl. And it has stayed like that. I didn't spray any stiffener, and I wouldn't spray a stiffener because I don't like the chemicals. But the fabric itself, because this is so thick in itself, just works beautifully. And I kind of know that automatically because when I was doing my needle felted bowls, if I didn't have a thickness to it, I'd have to get the stiffness by wet felting it and then doing a little couple stitches. I'd have to use different methods. But for needle felting, if I had a thickness to it, I automatically knew I could shape it. I mean, you just know this is shaping. And yeah, this one is going to be lovely. Yeah, we'll have to come back around because I want to put a little flower on this, a little bow. I'd like to put a flower. You know what? I might cut out some fabric and just a bunch of fabric, petals, and just sew them like sporadically together to make like a peony, and then just put it up on the side of this. So you see, I'm just going through. Now, why it gets easier as the diameter goes out or increases, it gets so much easier to go through and whip stitch in between your rows. And it just might be because now we're there, it's a little wider. And so see if I can, yeah, this is beautiful. This is lovely. And you see, it's not that difficult at all. So anyway, when you are not sure on what to do with a strip or a piece of thread, tie it, cut it, and tuck it. You got plenty of space to tuck here. But that's because you're going to run into that with this. Because the reason you're going to run into it is Rita PM. I did Rita saying I did the, I love it. I love the community. But you're going to run in to things like that, like loose thread, this and that. And so yeah, you're going to want to be ready to work with all of your wonderful nooks and crannies and tuck them in. I could go 10 different places on that one right now. Um, just tuck them in. So this is just lovely. Now, see if that's wide enough for, no, it's still not really. Let me do a few. I'm going to do a little bit more here because I really do want to show you how the sides come up just so very lovely. And when I was making my needle felted bowls, which I should do again, I really should. This is the other reason why you don't want a really wide needle is if you do get it in the fabric. See, this one's in the fabric, not in between, but that's okay. It's okay. Because I'm going to make sure my next one comes up through, and there we go. But you know what? Oh, that did the same thing. No, so I really do want to make, I don't want to make that same mistake. So I am going to actually, I'm going to actually take that out because I don't like that happened. Because what happened here? I'm glad it happened. So I was doing my whip stitch and I whip stitched this. So I want to make sure I'm whip stitching this and my row. Now, as you're going around, it's a very easy thing to do to accidentally, all of a sudden, you're whip stitching one row. Let me get my cough drop because I'm going to lose my voice. So that's why you stop, even though it's very simplistic. Just stop and test it like that. Make sure your rows are connecting because just like me, like I've done this before, and it's a very simple, easy mistake. And glitch, I call it a glitch. I call it a glitch. So anyway, here we go. So now I'm being more mindful. I'm coming over more. I want to make sure. Yeah, that's much better. I want to make sure I'm getting both my rows. This is a funny kind of flat piece of the fabric, and it shouldn't be really difficult to come in between the rows. But as I say, you're doing this your first time. If you use a flannel and you do catch the fabric, then it will go through easier. So I think this is still too small, but this is basically how, yeah, this is working. I'm shaping it. It's small, but that's so freaking cute. I actually want this a little bigger for sure. But this, you see, because it's thick. And what I would do, what I want to make this bigger for sure. I'm not stopping here, but I'm just showing you that already I'm able to shape it. So it's about 4 inches. That's very small. But if I was to leave it like this, what I would do and what I did just to reinforce it is you can use this thread or you can use a regular thread and just kind of weave it in invisibly. If you want to weave it visibly, that's, I mean, look, we have all these visible stitches. This one I didn't really care. I was just going around it. Now I did reinforce it here a little bit and then I reinforced it there. Not much. Like once around to make sure I had my round. That was it. But is that just, can you see that coming together? I mean, just now here, see, this is sticking out. This is where your crochet hook comes in really beautifully. You can go in and just pull it through and do like you do in crochet. If you're a crocheter, leave the tail long, pull it through and then do your U-turn because you do want to make sure it doesn't come undone. You want to, even though it's a bowl, it's not going to be moved around. Who knows? Maybe it will be moved around a lot. Maybe it will be used as hi, 143 handmade. Maybe it will be used as a hosting thing. But anyway, so you want to make sure that your threads are secure. So that's pretty much how it goes. What do you think? We should have a part 2? Hello, there's Robin. Oh, there's still people coming. This is really awesome. Maybe we'll keep going for a little bit. Maybe we'll sew a little bit. I'm going to leave this like that and grab another piece of thread and see if I can get a little bit more. But anyway, if if you get the idea of it, absolutely. You can use burlap. You can use, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. You could use crochet, right? You could use chunky crochet. I mean, no, what they have their own way. No, because that's different. That's different. But I mean, you could. Um, so anyway, let me put this back down because I do want to emphasize something to you. Oh, yeah, yes, part two. Oh, I think we'll do that. Um, yes, Robin. I'm so glad you said that because at the beginning, this, I'm gonna pull this out. I don't know. Did you see this? This, I think this scares people. But yes, at the beginning, I was showing this crazy basket, and this was meant to be a plant pot cozy, plant pot cozy, flower pot cozy. But yes, that's what these could be used for totally. And the organic fabrics just oh, I mean these, guess what though? These synthetics, fast fashion fabrics, these are not going to break down. You know that one. We know that. We know that from research. These are not going to break down, unfortunately. So what can we do with the synthetics? Let's make rugs. Let's make our flower pot cozies. But yeah. So this one, Robin, I was explaining at the beginning, this is all tied. It's like no sewing at all. Like I can show you guys how I made this one at some point. This is wild. This is a Carmella, totally out there, raw type of deal. But it's just all tied and no stress to worry about sewing, connecting, this and that. I did it. Um, to play. She liked to play. I mean, yeah, I see what you mean. You mean like try it out. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's just braid and uh tie. Braid and tie, tie knot. These are knots. So, and this did not take me long at all. This is an afternoon project. This is an afternoon project. I mean, you saw what we did in real time for the past hour, and I kept stopping, this and that. You can have this done in a short amount of time. The only thing I draw caution to is you want to make sure your fabric is at least 1 inch wide. And that way you get your thickness. If you're going to do two, like this was about two, these were about two. So this is a nice hefty little basket. But I think you're going to love it. But yeah, we'll do a part two, and we'll do it during the week. I'm trying to think. What is today? Saturday. I'm losing track of my days, but that's really nothing new. That kind of just comes with the, yeah. Um, let's see. I don't know. I mean, what's a good day for everybody? How, how about today's Saturday? How about Tuesday? That gives everybody, the rest of the weekend and into Monday. Get your scraps together. Maybe try it out. Is Tuesday or Wednesday? Wednesday might be too long. I think maybe Tuesday, and that's a good day for me. And that gives you time. I can't keep track of days on time without my handies. Oh my god. This is so funny that seriously. And even when I was younger, I couldn't keep track of the days, but now it's just so much worse. Let's see. Smartphone, not fun. Yeah, I know what you mean, smartphone. Yeah. She needs her smartphone to keep track. I totally get it. Well, I know I was sitting here looking for my, calendar as I was, talking, but, yeah, so we'll get together Tuesday, and, I will write this down. I'm thinking I don't know if the time, 11 is good. So, maybe we just keep it consistent, Tuesday at 11, and that way this will be done, and you'll have your scraps. Maybe you have at least started your coil, because I have a feeling if there's any glitches, this is where you're gonna find it here, and when you're trying to do your folding. So, we can talk about different ways that might work, that if it's not working, or what fabric you're using. Um, Perfect. Okay, Liz. Okay, I see your name now. I, I just looked at it like 100 times. I just saw Liz. Okay. So yeah, we'll get together Tuesday at 11. In the meantime, if you do have questions, I am more than happy to answer them to get you to Tuesday. And beautiful Tuesday. And yeah, so and then we'll take it from there. That will be wonderful. I thank you so much, everybody, for being with me today. You really made my weekend. You put me in such a good mood, make me very happy. Seriously, I love sharing what I know. It totally gives meaning to it instead of it sitting on the shelf or sitting in the drawer. So, excuse me. So, with that, I will see everybody Tuesday, and you have a beautiful, fun weekend. Don't get too wild out. Tuesday is good. Beautiful, Denise. And Denise, what is your can you type while we're still all right here your YouTube channel name again, because people can get it with your YouTube channel. Denise has some posts to share also. Rita PM, yeah. You too, Rita. Have a beautiful day. Um Carmella, my life is Sashiko Journey. Carmella, my live is Sashiko Journey. Okay, okay, Denise. So, okay, Denise, Sashiko Journey, everybody. Okay, so check out Denise over there. And yes, and everybody have an absolutely beautiful and blessed weekend. I will see you Tuesday.